we're gonna jump in here because a lot of people been banging our line. You know, they've been banging like, hey, we got questions. What does it look like? What is it supposed to be? Shalom. Is courting biblical?
Is courting biblical?
That's a heavy hitter right there.
My thing is people ready for the truth? I guess when you talk about courting, is it biblical? Because when you really look at the text, you don't see any instances of courting.
No, sir.
There were agreements. There were vows. Just recently, we had talked about Genesis 24, and Isaac had just lost his mother, Sarah, and Eleazar, the servant, was tasked with going to find Isaac a wife. But the only model that he had to go off of was Sarah. Because he had seen where Sarah came from, how Sarah conducted the business, how the ministry in Sarah complemented the ministry in Abraham.
Yes, sir.
And so now, when he is going to go look for a wife for his Lord, his new master, his master's son, the model that he has to go off of is Sarah.
Yes, sir.
Sarah meaning a noble woman.
Noble
woman meaning somebody who's of wisdom, self-sufficient, somebody who can move tactfully, somebody who's respectable, a chaste woman, etc. So when you're looking at instances, especially when you look at the life of Sarah, you're looking at the life of a woman, and jump in anytime you're ready out. But you're looking at the life of a woman that was committed to her husband, that complimented her husband in such a way that she modeled this thing for the servant to know who to go find for his master's son.
And that Sarah is the standard.
Yes.
We know Sarah is the standard.
Yes, sir.
She's Sirach 26.
Yes, sir.
And 1. She's Sirach 26 and 1. She's Proverbs 31 woman. She is the woman that our women should model themselves after.
Absolutely.
You know, when we talk about this right here being the woman, the man has to model himself as Abraham, as a Mashiach. Because what? Go ahead,
No, I'm listening. I'm following you.
Yeah. So even as we model, and the scriptures say, follow me as I follow Christ. Follow me as I follow Christ. Paul talks about emulating Hamashiach. You know what I'm saying? We talk about, when we talk about the standard of a husband and wife, we have to look at Abraham and Sarah. Because the scriptures say she called him Lord. I remember the statement you made the other day. Well, I'm not such and such. I'm a Lord.
Right.
God, you know what I'm saying? But the women, do they see you as Lord?
Whether they see it or not is how you carry yourself as a man. So when you talk about is courting biblical,
yes, sir.
There's no biblical reference for courting.
There is none.
So when relationships from a Hebraic thought or Hebraic standpoint was arranged, like this ain't like going to Foot Locker and trying on shoes.
No, this ain't dating.
This wasn't that. And so understanding that, what had to happen is there had to be an awareness in arranging the relationships in such a way that a son would desire something that looked like what he grew up with. So when you look at Sarah was a noble woman, a helper, a woman of principle, a woman that was responsible. Now what happens is, because of the relationship that Isaac formed with his mother, what would happen is Isaac was then able to know what was expected or what was needed. So when the servant of Eleazar, the servant, would go and look for that, because he had seen those qualities in Sarah, that's what he went after in looking for the wife for his master's son. So there wasn't a chance or an opportunity for courtship. And she came when he found Rebecca. She came at the perfect time when he found Rebecca. Because Rebecca was exuding the qualities of a noble woman. For like case in point, when Rebecca jumped into when Eleazar runs into Rebecca, he asked her for something to drink, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then him asking her for something to drink, He had prayed and asked the Most High, not only would this woman give him something to drink, but she would also take care of his camels. Now, Rebecca did that thing, and Rebecca didn't know that that's what he had prayed for. But because she was a virtuous woman in that way, a hospitable woman, same as Sarah. Because when the angels came and they met with Abraham in chapter 18 of Genesis, what you see is she cooked the meal, she cooked the food for strangers and complimented the ministry that was in Abraham of hospitality. Rebecca had that quality. By the time Eleazar meets Rebecca, Rebecca exudes that same quality.
So she was already that woman.
She was living that life, right?
She was living that life.
So she had the qualities,
yes, sir,
that Eleazar was looking for his new Lord to be, because he had saw those same qualities for his older Lord, for Abraham. That he's like, if that worked for Abraham, that's going to work for my Lord Isaac.
Because what he saw, he lived. Remember, he lived with Sarah.
Exactly.
He worked for Sarah, so he's seen her mannerism. He's seen her attitude. He's seen how she functioned, how she talked to Abraham, how she interacted with him. She's seen if she was frustrated. He's seen all this, and he said, "Okay, so she just like her,
right? Yeah.
Oh, this for my Lord right here. This the woman I need right here. Let me bring him on. You coming with me?
Yes, sir.
You coming with me because you got everything like the woman I work for.
Right.
You're everything the woman I work for.
That's it.
So listen, what's the difference between courting and dating? Let's break it down to this terminology now, because we understand we're in captivity. So let's talk. What's the difference to you between courting and dating? These folks need to know this.
So we are clear. We're just very clear on this point. I don't know what the rest of the chat feel like. I can't see the chat like you.
Yeah.
There is no biblical reference for courting.
My
understanding, this is my understanding. I guess somebody, and I thank our producer for helping me understand this, because personally, for a while, I didn't see much difference between courting and dating, other than courting from a mindset. I guess you're courting to eventually have that long-term relationship, or you're looking for a wife. But somebody who's dating can be just a casual thing. So from a Hebraic standpoint, neither one of them are biblical. But I guess because we're transitioning, and I guess we got to give our people that grace at that time to learn and understand what it looked like from a Hebraic mindset in scriptures. If you're courting someone, courting is about the mindset of the principle going in, that you're courting this person with the hopes of forming a covenant, a relationship with them.
So courting is looking for this fruit of the spirit, looking if he or she has the mind of a Mashiach, looking to see if us two can walk together and be agreed, having a like mind, like ruachs. You know what I'm saying? Not unequally yoked.
Right. Yes, sir.
That's what courting. With dating, if we would have to say courting, what we just gave is courting. It's understanding a person by the ruach, knowing them by the ruach, understanding them, not by looks, not by what they got, and not by all it, but by the ruach hakodesh.
Yes, sir.
So dating is like trying on shoes.
Yes, sir.
You just out here wanting to go through every dude and hope you find the right one, or every woman and hope you find the right one.
Yeah,
that's dating. That's nowhere. We can't even compromise that and say that's cool for you to go through 100 people and you still ain't found no one.
And if we be honest, look, we got grown-ups on here, right? If we be honest, most of the dates that we was going on back in the day, I can only talk for me.
God.
Most of the dates I was going on back in the day.
That's flesh.
Listen, I wasn't trying to keep the shoes on, So let's just keep it a buck. Let's just be honest. A lot of times we was just dating just to see where this thing go. But see if we get lucky. Was totally different.
See if we get lucky. So that same spirit is over here now.
It is. We brought that over. Yeah, that mindset is over in Israel.
That same mindset is over here now. That old pimp mentality, that old player mentality. We see it now in Israel. So if a dude is just shifting women, or a woman is just going through man and going through man and going through man, listen, you in the wrong spirit.
Yeah.
You in the wrong ruach, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to get to know someone, you putting it all on the table. You putting it all on the line. You know what I'm saying? And prayerfully, okay, this is the one. But first of all, Are you being led to this person?
Listen,
Go ahead.
let's go back to the beginning. First
Yes,
of
sir.
all, listen, I got a 21-year-old son. He's a chaste young man, and we have real talks. Bottom line is, are you prepared?
Come on.
Listen, there's an order to this thing, like that, because we always got to deal with the men first, at least in my eyes. I talked to my son, and he's not looking to do anything, but I have these discussions with him because there was an understanding that I have now that I didn't have when I was his age. So now when I talk to my son, I talk to him from a standpoint of, okay, son, you go and you do whatever you do with a woman. She gets pregnant. Where are you taking her? What have you had prepared for her? What do you have prepared for this woman? So the first thing we got to understand is, from a scriptural standpoint, our young men need to understand what it looks like to find a woman. To find a woman. Before you can even find a woman, are you prepared for the responsibility of finding her? What have you prepared for her? Because you brought up Esther and Vashti and Esther. Esther came into a prepared situation. Eve came into a prepared situation.
Yes, sir.
Rebecca, Sarah, prepared situations. Israel, according to Joshua 24:13, he got gardens that we didn't plant. We got gardens that we didn't plant. The ancestors did. They got houses they didn't build. So the Most High is about preparation. The problem with our men or our young men is we're so used to this westernized thinking or this westernized understanding that we don't understand that before you can even find somebody, you have to bring them into a prepared situation.